Hello, my name is David Mahalik. I'm an engineer here at Fort Defiance Industries, and today I'm going to talk about the controls and indicators of the sterilizer main unit. So on the front here, we got, here on the left, we got the warnings, and so these are all the warnings that you're going to want to be aware of before you operate the sterilizer. Right here we got the on and off switch. So this is what turns on and off the whole unit. So after you're connected and powered up, once you press this, once you flip this up, it's going to turn on the PLC and the heaters and everything. Right here we got the jacket pressure gauge. And so we have, the chamber right here, and then in between we have the jacket, which is where the water is boiled. And so that's reading the jacket pressure. We also have the chamber pressure gauge, which once you're in a cycle and steam is dumped into the chamber, you can read the pressure on the chamber pressure gauge. Right here we have the indicator, and it has 3 modes. Yellow is one of them. Yellow means the unit is warming up. So, we just flipped this on, and right now the heaters are firing and warming up. Once this thing gets up to 28.5 psi, this will turn off, and that means the unit is in idle and it's ready to start a cycle. Also, during a cycle, this will be off if you're running a cycle. The other two, if it's red, that means an alarm was triggered, and so you'll be able to read the alarm off the PLC, but if this is red, you'll know that an alarm was triggered. Number 3 is green, and so if this is green, that means a cycle completed successfully and the system is normal. So those are all the modes for the indicator light. Right here we have the PLC, and this is what you're gonna use to operate, start cycles, look at the log to see information from past cycles, and we will talk more about that in a later video. Behind this panel we have a Audible Alarm, and what that does is it's just kind of, if you're out away from the sterilizer, if you hear that go off, it's going to tell you 2 things. One, if you hear 1 beep, that means a cycle completed successfully and the system is normal. If you hear 3 beeps, that's the alarm condition, and you also get a red light. So that's the alarm. It's kind of in the electrical enclosure behind this panel. John Hodges, the engineering manager, mentioned the door. Again, we have the handles. Use these to tighten the door before you run a cycle. We have the throw arm, which fully retracted, you can open up the door, and fully engaged locks these arms, which we call the radial arms. So those are locking in there and kind of locking the door. And I think that's all we're going to talk about for the front of the unit, and we'll swing around back and talk about the back. All right, here we are at the back of the sterilizer main unit, and again we're going to talk about the controls and indicators of the SMU. And so right here we got the sight gauge, and we have a high mark on it and a low mark. And before you start a cycle, just as a general rule, you're going to want to fill this up with the water recovery system to the high mark. It'll run in between here, but it's just a good general rule to run this at the high mark. Right here we got the pressure relief valve, and this is set at 40 psi. So this is kind of the last line of defense. The unit has a lot of alarms built in, but if the jacket was to ever overpressure, this would release the pressure in the jacket. Right here we have the jacket manual vent valve, and so if I open this, it will release the pressure in the jacket. Right here I have the chamber manual vent valve, and if I open this, I can release, if I had a vacuum form in the chamber, I could release that, but I could also release pressure. Right here I have the blue tagged recovered water from the water recovery system. hose, and so this is connected to the water recovery system. And you got the blue tag here and the blue tag here to kind of help during setup. But what this is for is anytime you're filling up the jacket with water, it's going to travel through this hose and fill up the jacket. Right here we got the white tagged hose with the white tag right here. And this is the vacuum exhaust hose. And so anytime during a cycle that the chamber is being evacuated, the steam and everything is going to be evacuated through this hose down to the water recovery system. Right here I have the jacket drain valve right here. So if I open this up, it's going to drain out all the water and steam out of the jacket. If you're packing up for transport, you're typically going to drain through this. Right here is the actual hose connection for the jacket drain, and just as a warning, you're going to want to use the high temperature drain hose that is supplied with the unit. It's red, and so that's how you can drain out the water. We also have, these valves. When you operate these valves, these are the ports that are actually going to, where the steam and water is actually going to come out, and so we call these the jacket and chamber manual vent valve outlets. So if you open the jacket vent valve, water steam is going to come out here, and the same thing for the chamber, it's going to come out here if you operate that valve. I wanted to let you know about a few more things about the sterilizer main unit. On the right side panel, we have the inlet air filter, and there's a fan inside this electrical enclosure behind this panel that draws air through the side and out the back of the unit. So this is the inlet air filter. We also have 2 carry handles aside. So we have 2 on this side, we have 2 carry handles on this side, and then we also have 2 per end cap on the end caps. So when these end caps are up, you'll have handles on every single side to lift the unit up and carry it around. We also have the end cap knobs, and there's 4 of these, 2 per end cap. And we'll talk a little bit about operating these later, but they're just screw in and screw out to tighten the end cap in place when it's stood up, and then you loosen these fully when you're folding up the end caps. So those are the last couple things about the SMU controls and indicators.